So on Soon Will Be Dead, you guys brought the World Inferno Friendship Society, another one of my all-time favourite bands.
Yeah.
You bring those guys onto that track, like, whose idea was that? How did you get connected?
It's a good question. I was working at this club called the Wetlands. It's where I was working. My last day was 9/11/01, as a matter of fact, because I was going on tour, but also because it closed. Um, I was working there. I had I was a bar back, and I didn't have the best shifts. Like the best shift for a bartender or bar back is Friday night, Saturday night. That's the most people drinking. It's the most work. That's the most money, whatever. But I think I was on my schedule was something like Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. I had that. Sometimes I get a Friday or Saturday or a holiday when they needed more people. But I like Sunday because Sunday was almost always a hip hop show, a death metal show, or a punk show. And so one Sunday it was World Inferno was playing. I had never heard of them, and I was told to check them out, and I did. And I'm bar backing, but there's not that many people there, and they had really good songs and they had good energy, right? And unspoken rule when the show's over, like when the band's done and they start kicking people out of the venue. They close the bar. Like the bartenders will take their registers and bring them down to the manager's office to count the money. And if someone in the band or someone with the band that has the pass is still there that they want to drink, the bar back can go. We weren't told this by management, but it was known that you could still serve the band drinks if you wanted to, and it would just be for tips. So and they just tip you and keep it. So when the World Inferno they kept wanting wine and drinks and stuff, and their guitar player Lucky was a fan of ours. I guess I didn't know that, but he had told them who I was, and he was a fan of Leftovers Crack, and so they're all ordering drinks and just tipping me 20s and stuff. These guys, World Inferno is a band that I don't know what their day jobs were or if they even had day jobs, but they definitely like to be decadent, Yeah. They they like to throw 20s at the guy from Choking Victim that's bar backing. You know what I mean? Because they were drunk, the show went well, and they were happy and it was fun. They probably would have given anybody 20s that was serving them after the bar closed, right? But Lucky was the guy I met. Lucky, the guitar player, he ended up in Ezra's band, Morning Glory for a while. Lucky
Yeah.
Strano, and he might have hooked it up. I don't know. I can't. The details are hazy, but he played on it and he got me a couple of those guys, and it was good.
Do you have any
Franz
thoughts?
got me. Franz is really hooked me up. He's the was the accordion player in World Inferno, and he ended up in the Hold Steady, in that band, the Hold Steady, and he got us some like string, a bunch of string people, like cellos and violins and all kinds of great stuff.
So it,
Like
it,
we
it was new band member. Was Eula on that recording?
what?
Oh, you know Eula, the bass player, she was in Star Fucking Hipsters a little bit. Was she there? Was
Yeah,
she on that recording?
no, she wasn't there. Yeah, no, she wasn't on that. Like we only had a few. We had three or four people from World Inferno, and Eula wasn't one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked because I'm trying to get her on my podcast as well. But
I mean, I know Eula, and she can be gotten in touch. Do you not have contact information
no,
for her?
I've got contact. It's just we're just trying to work it out right now. So it might happen. Hopefully, it will happen. Do you have any thoughts on Jack Terricloth?
Yeah, I mean, Jack was interesting. I always get along with Jack, which isn't the case with most other bands than Jack. This guy, I knew he was from New Jersey, but he had a fake British accent, I thought. And I was like, who's this fucking poser? Like, what the fuck? Ended up being Jack. And I think he was in this band Six and Stones at the time, Six and Stones. But that was funny because I think I told him that at some point. But he was like a force. Like he's one of those guys. Like it's interesting. It's like he's one of those people. He's like a character. Like he is who he portrays on stage, right? And he is like he was just like big, larger than life in a way, And it just there's like going to see World Inferno was always interesting and always like worthwhile. Like regardless, like there's like kind of some there's like when they lost a lot of members of the band at some point, like around like Eula wasn't in the band, Semra wasn't in the band, Franz left the band. Like there's like 4 or 5 people weren't in the band that were like the people I knew the best, the most, and I was kind of like hesitant to go see them, but then they were always good. Like Jack had this like his approach to music was more than just he had all these like philosophies and artistic approaches to things that I never really had. Like I think one of the reasons I started wearing suits was probably because of World Inferno. Because I just I realized that what am I gonna dress like a crusty forever?
Yeah.
I feel like I could be homeless. I mean, because all my friends were getting arrested for nothing. They really liked arresting like crusties, like homeless kids, and like dirty kids that panhandled or whatever. I was doing the same thing, except I had like a black tie and a shirt, so I could walk into almost any business and use the bathroom because they just glance up for a second and look away. If they would look a little closer, they'd see that it was filthy. It was like gray. My white shirt was gray or black after a while. And it just seemed like a good idea, and it seemed like something that would age better than wearing like patched pants and like you know what I mean, and like
Yeah.
dreads.
How did you take the news when Jack died? Did you like end up reconnecting with some of the band members?
Yeah, no, I went to one of his memorials in New Jersey, and we did talk to Sandra, um the bass player, the next to last bass player, I guess.
Yeah.
She was there, and we got her to play with us for when we played punk rock bowling. We needed a bass player after Alec died. But yeah, I didn't see Jack. It was during COVID. I saw Alec a bunch during COVID. I didn't see Jack. I don't know what his headspace was like, but you know, I think I think he died of, like alcohol poisoning or something, or like alcohol and pills or something.
No, I think it was a heart attack, some cardiac issue.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think that no matter what, it was definitely related to his like his drinking. I'm sure, definitely his drinking. Possibly, maybe he was taking Adderall or cocaine or something. I would think. I know he had gotten an inheritance, so it's probably for like I would think it would be a cocaine party if I was Jack Terricloth. That's just my who knows, but I know that like drinking heavily is not good for your heart.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, I cried when he died.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't cry when he died, and I'll tell you that it's not because it wasn't sad, but I feel like I really feel like Jack was one of those people that lived, they lived their lives to the fullest. It's hard because my best friend had died not that long before that, and after that, my ex that made my life miserable left, but I was fine with that. What really fucked me up was when we had a cat, and I was hanging out with the cat for like 8 months, and then she wanted the cat back, and the cat was hard for me because I couldn't leave. I wouldn't go somewhere overnight. I didn't want to leave the cat very long because I felt like I don't know. It wouldn't sometimes it wouldn't eat, and I felt very responsible. Like I felt like if I left town for overnight and it came back and it was dead, or if it wasn't eating after that, it would be my fault because I wasn't there feeding it. And I just it made me realize that I couldn't really have the cat because it was gonna make me a shut in basically.
Yeah.
I was invited places and I couldn't go there because and it sounds like an excuse, but it wasn't. It's like I could not leave that cat. Couldn't leave the cat. I wouldn't leave the cat. I was not prepared to worry about the cat not being around it, all that stuff. So it was okay for me to give it away back, but not having the cat, I really liked that cat. I cared about it. I loved it. And if I would just think about the cat, or really there's so many cat toys and things like that. So if I'd be cleaning and I'd find the little ball with the bell in it and I'd just pick that up, I wouldn't just start crying, but I would cry uncontrollably for hours and hours. I would cry so loud and uncontrollably that I'd crank music up. It could be like 6 a.m. I would 5 a.m. I'd crank music up all the way, and I'd just be like, yeah, crying. I'd start smashing dishes and breaking shit. It didn't help after that when and then I was getting canceled, and my best friend had died, and the cat was gone. All this stuff happened, and I started losing my shit. By the time Jack died, I had been crying so much. It's like I was kind of all cried out, and and I was doing lots of drugs. So because when you're crying for 5 hours and there's no end in sight, you have to do something about it. And what I can do about it, the only thing I can think to do about it is all right, I'm gonna go get high because I can't keep crying. It's been 5 hours. I can't just keep doing this.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then over time, things get better, and you don't have to do drugs necessarily. And then, yeah, things are sad, or they're what they are, and life goes on. But also, I haven't been that sad in a long time. So.